Okay, as promised, my book that I made for my collage work for October of 2023, the spine was popping out, so yesterday I spent the day cutting into it and expanding it and then decorating the cover and then doing some grommet and ribbon closure here. So anyway, I have a new overhead camera stand, which I haven't really used it very often, so this is the new thing. So I'm just gonna start. Excuse me. I ripped out pages to expand it to make room for the work here, but it still wasn't wide enough, so I will do something different. But this is October, and I've started using in all of my collage work photographs that I've been saving because they're just beautiful and I like them, so I'm keeping them in my personal collection. So this is the opening page for October, and then I did 31 collages for the month of October based upon what was happening each day. So this is October 1st, which I used fussy cut illustrations from greeting cards. Also have way too many of those. Sorry, these pages are kind of hard to turn. There we go. October 2nd, another photograph that I liked, along with some, I think this was from sheet music, and this is a piece of paper from the inside of a vintage envelope from the 20s. I've been hoarding that paper and saving it because it's just too beautiful. This is October 3rd, my birthday. Harvest moon on the last long road. This is wallpaper, bits of wallpaper and wrapping paper. That's an illustration from a haiku book. And then that is some shorthand text. This is a little cut out from the back of a calendar for one of my favorite artists, Modigliani, I can't remember how to pronounce it. And then just odd bits of colorful wrapping paper and wallpaper. And this was the next day. I'm not going to remember the dates as I'm flipping through, so I'm already going to say sorry. This is another little illustration I found in my stash from an old book of French children's nursery rhymes. So the brief for myself that I set for myself was that I would do collage and use words in each collage. So that's kind of what I've tried to do. Another favorite photograph from the 1940s. More of that paper from the inside of the envelope, and then more fussy cut from vintage greeting cards. This is a piece of paper from a spine of a book that I deconstructed. This is just a bunch of different bits of paper. I can't remember. This is end paper from a book. This is from a chocolate bar. This is a map inside of an envelope. And then I was kind of in a mood for circles. You'll see circles throughout most of my work because I, for some reason, just really like the way that they look, and I like bright colors. This is a postage stamp I've had for a long time. My family is from Britain originally, so there will be British stuff throughout. I think this is a map from Britain, postage from Britain, Chester. That's the region that my family is originally from. This was also from sheet music. They have really great graphics on old sheet music. think that's wallpaper. And that was a bag that I got from a store. I was like, it's so pretty. This is about the time that the conflict between Israel and Hamas began, when people were starting to realize that Palestinians were being killed. And I was beginning right from the very start to have some serious concerns about what was happening and feeling very overwhelmed. And on this day, which I think was about the 15th or 16th, this is part of a Martin Luther King Jr. quote, that hate is too great a burden to bear. I have decided to stick with love. So I split that quote into 2 days. This is poppies, which of course is the flower that is used to remember war veterans. So that seemed appropriate because so many people were losing their lives even at the very beginning. This is the spine of a book. And again, the message for me was peace. I was trying to find some inner peace. And this is within the very first 2 weeks of that conflict, which, as we all know, is still happening. And of course, at the end of World War II, the Jews who were victimized in the Holocaust, along with 6 million other people, Poles, Russians, Gypsies, we all vowed that never again for anyone, and it's not really playing out that way, is it? And this is channeling my early teenage years, when, the flower power movement and peace, and I was really involved in activism when I was young. And I had this poster on my wall with this quote on it: I dream of giving birth to a child who will ask mother, what was war? And clearly, we're not there yet. This was the 16th of October, and it was the day that my daughter-in-law lost her mother. She had been ill for quite some time and had been improving, and then suddenly died, which was the beginning of a really not very pleasant time for all of us as a family as we tried to support Jess. It just was a shit time. And here's more of my angst for the Palestinian people. The dead were dead one by one, and all my dreams all dust. I think that was a quote from something. I'm trying to bounce back here on this day. This is, I got a bunch of jelly print paper from an Instagram creator. I can't remember off the top of my head. She had if you commented, I was entered into a drawing, and she sent me all these beautiful papers. And this is a fussy cut illustration of carnations, which I thought was really delicate and sweet against the very vibrant colors. And here we are. We're trying to find a way to understand what's going on in the world. It's not just Israel and Palestine. This U.S. is pretty screwed up right now, politically speaking. I mean, I can't believe that we might potentially have Donald Trump as president again. Yeah, so this goes without saying. This is more of that jelly print plate paper, and then that inside of interior envelope paper that I just love. These illustrations are 5 by 3. I wanted to do a larger version. The collages that I made in September were 2.5 by 2.5, and I do have a video on YouTube of that, but I didn't have this nifty stand, so I might refilm that video. But this is unconscionable is the only word that I chose for the day. Still struggling. Undeniable, still struggling. This is more fussy cutting from vintage greeting cards and end papers from books I've deconstructed. And all of these collages are mounted on watercolor paper to give it some stability. And then the book page, I've toned down the background with rice paper. Here we go, blue. And I think the word here is uncomfortable, because it's becoming very clear that I'm extremely uncomfortable with the world. So some old cellophane tape. This is some of the texture from the spine of a book. We have envelope paper and end papers from another book, French blue tissue paper, and then circles. More circles. Just a scattered mix of different things. I don't know. I'm very, when I'm working, I just do it intuitively. I generally don't really have a plan beyond pulling a bunch of papers together that I like, and then I go from there. This is another one of my favorite photos. It's the sweetest little baby. And then a little bit of found word poetry. This is October 24th at this point, so we're almost at the end of the month. And yeah, sunflowers, because of Ukraine, which is also at war right now. It feels like the world is at war. I did some research in the middle of all of this and found that there were probably 20 different war zones in the US, and that we as a country have troops all over the world all the time. And when we the people, I don't know, doesn't seem like anybody's listening to we the people in any country on the face of the planet. I've had this piece of tape measure forever. This is another thing I've been trying to do with my collage work, is to use these little bits that I've had forever. Instead of keeping them in a little box, I've decided to actually use them. So I have no idea what will happen with all of these when I'm no longer here, but I'm hoping that my family will get some joy from them. I've certainly enjoyed making them. More of the sunflower paper. And I also tried to do some ink splats. They were not very successful, but in the end, I think they look all right. It's all about learning new techniques, trying new things. Here we are with circles again. Map. I've used this quote again this month, "O Palestine, O Palestine, we hear your desperate plea." It's a song that I've discovered on TikTok, and I have it on my iTunes. So, yeah, this is the 29th of October. I decided to do more of a horizontal format instead of a all over the place or vertical, which I have a tendency to do. You know, we get into patterns on the way that we create, so I was trying to do something a little bit different. This is Halloween, which orange and black, kind of spooky. I didn't have any illustrations or anything to find, so that was it. So that is my 31 collages for the month of October, and then I did an additional one because beginning of November, I really didn't have a plan for doing any artwork, and then middle of November, we had another disaster in our family when my daughter-in-law lost her father to in a car accident. He was a pedestrian and hit by a car, and he passed away. So his death was truly unexpected. So my daughter-in-law lost both her parents in 30 days. And so the previous collage that I did on the 16th was to honor her mother, Laura, and then I did this one to honor her father, Bruce. So this, and that was November 15th. And so November there was not much going on in my mind, creatively speaking. I just did not feel it at all. There was just too much sadness in the family. And so I kind of took a creative break and didn't really feel anything again until December, which is when I started a new journal. And I will make I'll make a video on that because this one is 15 minutes. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed looking at these, and I hope that I wasn't too political for some people, but let's face it, the world is in so much turmoil right now, and art is how I cope with it. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.